You knew that this video was coming sooner or later, Broncos country. We've got to talk about Von Miller. News came out this morning that the Bills are indeed releasing Von. He turns 36 this month, and he had been due $17.5 million in 2025 with no guarantees, so Buffalo just opted to go ahead and clear that cap space now. Both sides are open to a potential return, though. And obviously, we have to talk about a potential reunion here in Denver with Von Miller. And I actually think it's more realistic than a lot of other people out there do. Von Miller can still play in the NFL. There's this narrative out there that Von can't play anymore and he should just retire. I'm here to dispel that narrative right here, right now. In 2024, Von Miller played only 332 total snaps. He was mostly used as a rotational, pure pass rusher on third down. And he was effective. He had 40 total pressures in those 332 snaps. That's a pretty high pressure percentage. 6 sacks, 4 non-sack quarterback hits, and 30 quarterback hurries. Tell me that that's a guy who can no longer play in the NFL, because I think for a guy who's 36 years old, that's pretty damn good production, especially when you consider that Von is still coming off of that ACL injury that really derailed things for him in Buffalo. He signed that 6-year, $120 million deal with the Bills. That was back in 2022. Admittedly, a lot of that was funny money at the back end of the deal, but still, they had believed in Von to give him a long-term contract. In his first several games with the Bills, he had accrued 9 sacks, but on Thanksgiving in 2022, he tears his ACL up in Detroit. He has to have full reconstructive surgery, and per his own admission, he should have never played a down of football in the 2023 season. He comes back about midway through the year and is not effective at all. He's got a very low pressure percentage and doesn't even record a single sack on the year. So there was wondering after that if Von would ever bounce back. I'd say that last season, even though he was in a limited role with the Bills, he did bounce back. He did play better. He did play a lot closer to the Von Miller that we know and love. Is he ever going to be that every down pass rusher that can play the run, that's going to accumulate double-digit sacks every year? No, he's not that guy. But what he is a rotational edge rusher that can still thrive in that role as long as you designate him as a pure pass rushing specialist, mostly on third down. And that's honestly a role that I still think the Denver Broncos could kind of use. They could kind of use a running mate for Nick Bonito on third down. They could use somebody who's kind of a speed rusher off the edge, which we know very much Von Miller is. Could you imagine Von Miller and Nick Bonito both rushing the passer on third down? That could create some matchup nightmares for the defense, especially when you have guys like Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers collapsing the interior. Holy crap, that could make this pass rush lethal on third down. Jonathan Cooper is a great early down guy, but I think that they want somebody else on third down. And they do still have Jonah Ellis and Dondre Tillman on the roster, both of whom are very promising in their rotational roles. But there's something else that might motivate the Denver Broncos to go ahead and pursue Von Miller. I want to go ahead and bring this in. This is a now deleted tweet from Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's trying to recruit Von Miller to Kansas City here, and I don't think that would happen. Von Miller is a Denver Bronco for life. He still says we when talking about the Denver Broncos, even though he's been off the team since 2021. He said that he's going to come back and get his number retired here in Denver when things are all said and done. So I don't think Von Miller would go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think he'd have the heart to do that to Broncos country, who he still has an emotional connection with. Additionally, I think the Denver Broncos would much rather re-sign Von Miller and not prioritize developing a guy like Dondre Tillman as your fourth edge rusher. Bring in Von Miller as your fourth edge rusher. You can sign him to a pretty cheap deal. I think Von would take a hometown discount to come back to Denver. It just makes so much sense, man. It really, really does. So for me, I am definitely thinking about pursuing Von Miller here if I am the Denver Broncos, especially if it means keeping him away from a team like Kansas City. So, yeah, I'm interested in bringing Von back, and it's not just sentimental crap either. I think that Von Miller can still play, and I think that Von Miller could fill a role that this team kind of needs right now. So, let me know in the comment section below, guys, how would you feel if the Denver Broncos were to go out and re-sign Von Miller and bring him back for a potential last championship run with the Broncos? His number 58 still available. The Broncos have not reissued it since he left, so that wouldn't be an issue at all. He could get his old number back, and he could be back here in Denver. It would be really cool to see, and again, it's not just sentimental. I think Von could actually fill a needed role for this team. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, Broncos Country. I would love to hear from you, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos Country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.